When half a century ago Bernhard Glockner established a small store that has grown to such large proportions under capable management of members of the family, even the high-wheel bicycle had scarcely made its bow to the public. Horse-drawn streetcars were being discussed, cisterns were few, and residents brought river water by the barrel. John Cooley was kept busy making harness and selling horse collars. Sales in the store then were largely that of plows, churns, buck saws, post hole diggers, spades, grindstones, and such goods, including large iron and brass kettles. The letterware in general use in the making of a family supply of apple butter, 10 gallons or more. Also, soft soap for the kitchen use was made from the kettles. Market Street at that time was the center of business activity, and there was much river and canal trade. There was but one railroad, the M&C, with its platform at 6th Street. The hotels were all on Market Street or west of there, and the bank, 5 of them, were on Market Street, and Front Street from Court to Madison was one line of jobber houses. Markets were held twice a week in the mornings on Market Street. Truck farmers coming from Dogwood Ridge, Drury Hollow Run, Munn's Run, and other distant points. The market house was a scene of political gatherings, as in the 60s it had been the recruiting headquarters. It was from Market Square that the gallant old 5th Street Ohio Volunteer Infantry departed for the front in the Civil War, leaving on February the 22nd, 1862, on the steamer Poland and the steamer Commander for Fort Donelson via Paducah. Major Charles F. Renninger was in command. He had been landlord of the Renninger House at the corner of 3rd and built at the ill-fated National Hotel on Sauda Street. The following were among the downtown merchants: A and B Brunner, A. Correll, Dan White, Dr. Kotzelben, H. P. Yeager, Pat Kenrick, John T. Miller, John Neal, Charles Schmidt, Ed Wright, John Fendies, Chance Wilson, A. D. Miller, Dr. McGuire, George Watkins, Phil Graham, Fred Rackenhouse, Fred Dorr, P. J. LeGrand, John Herder, Adam Giesler, Frank Weldy, Ed Rhine, Adam Weiss, and others. Jake Weatherwax had a blacksmith shop on the west side of the square near Plumbing Ship on 3rd, just east of Market Street. On the northwest corner of 3rd and Market Street, Nichols, Ross and Company conducted a furniture store, while Makeham's livery barn was adjoining. At 4th Street, James Charlesworth had a marble works, and adjoining him, the venerable pious David Ramsey operated a grocery. St. Mary's Church was without a cupola, bell or clock, all of which were added later, and to the west was the MC Yards, where Nat Barber and Henry Davison looked to the weighing of the tons of pig iron that came in from the Bloom and other furnaces. It was in the 70s that the Seeburgers had a fruit stand on the Brunner corner, and at times Henry Bertram and Cotton Bernstein, Spud McCann, and Warren Gaiman were known to help themselves to peanuts when the busy Abe was selling a Gazette. However, be it said to the credit of the now prosperous Ohio Stoveman that meeting Mr. Seeburger at Atlantic City only a few years ago, he tendered the one-time sidewalk merchant $1 as part compensation for what stand, but not only was the money declined, but so glad was Mr. Seeburg to see the erstwhile bony fiddle youngster that the two dined a la carte at the Marlborough Blenheim at the former's expense. They discussed boyhood days, much to each other's enjoyment. Mr. Seberg recalls that the time when Egg Gates beat him in Enquire delivery to the Andes, Vernier, Europa, and Taylor House and the wharf, secured a pony and bought the papers from the 6th Street station in far less time than George, Meyer, or Julius could do. Henry says them were the